Hello there. I think I've planned this just about perfectly. It is Wednesday, October 22nd, 4:18 p.m., and I am at, what is the name of this place? Luxspur, something like that, some sort of a ferry area over like northeast of Sausalito that will be taking me back to San Francisco area, which is actually a lot more expensive than I would expect. It's like $14, so I don't think I'll be doing this super regularly, but given the day that I've had so far, it's certainly the most convenient option. Now I'm just trying to find good spots to talk. So let's go and see how we come. Okay, that's a little bit better. Wow, quite a lot of bikes over here, and I can still see mine, so that's good. The ferry is coming in right now. I see it. That's pretty cool. Yeah, man, quite a day, and quite a day yesterday, honestly. Today's going to be a little bit of a repeat evening-wise. But, yesterday I ended up going to this bike co-op called the Bike Kitchen, and it was just kind of funny because I had just gotten there right when they opened, somewhat coincidentally, but also kind of planned. And I was just walking around trying to get a feel for the place, and I ended up at the front of this like amorphous line, and some guy came out and he was like, "Is anyone here to volunteer?" And I was like, I guess I will. So I ended up volunteering last night from like 6 until just about 9 o'clock. The power actually went out at the venue where the bike shop is located, and so we weren't able to continue working with the same kind of level of efficiency or ability, really. I thankfully had my headlamp. You know, I have a condensed version of my bike now that I carry with me when I'm traveling in town, and one of the items is certainly my headlamp, you know. I always want to have that just in case I need it. And last night when the power went out, I was the only one who had like hands-free light. You know, everyone had their cell phone out, and I was just like, man, that's some pedestrian stuff right there, my dude. But yeah, you know, live and learn. So I was there from, like I said, 6 until just about 9, and then I was pretty hungry, and options were pretty limited. I didn't have any groceries, and I didn't really want to make anything because it was so late. And so I ended up going to Whole Foods, you know what I'm saying, grabbing a couple pieces of pizza, and then some coconut rolled dates, which were really expensive and probably also won't be repeated again, but, you know, I was treating myself. So, yeah, then I had to bike 12 miles back to the campsite. And I've certainly determined that because of the government shutdown, I think I've located my next place to camp and stay. I don't want to disclose the location in case there's anyone out there stalking me, but suffice it to say, the government shutdown is not always a bad thing. You know, I found this little area within the Golden Gate Recreation area that is, you know, technically a national park. And I am going to be staying at a specific location, which I don't think will be frequented by anyone, either patron or like the federal employee alike. And so I'm pretty stoked on that. Also, for my day today, so if you recall, when I was staying in Golden, Colorado, I was sleeping behind a pit toilet fairly regularly. And as part of doing that, eventually I actually ended up hiking the trail that I was camping at a couple of times just to kind of spend my mornings doing that. And since I've been in San Francisco area, the past 2 days I have ended up biking over to Sausalito, not first thing in the morning, but as my first real big errand of the day. And I gotta say it's much better over here. Like, I guess I can see the Golden Gate Bridge from here. I can only assume that's what that is in the distance. The topography certainly suggests that I'm looking towards San Francisco right now. But, you know, the city is like, just like all cities, even though San Francisco is certainly more of a gym, it's still dirty, and there's still the most number of homeless people and the most number of people who don't care about the homeless people. It's just a collision of like a lot of disparity in resources among people, and I just love that I have found an area that is, you know, I guess, 12 miles outside of the city that gives me everything that I want and I need. And going to Sausalito is much nicer also than going into the city first thing in the morning. There's a lot less options, and the ones that they do have are pretty quaint. And so, yeah, I have really thoroughly been enjoying that. And, you know, again, not wanting my life to be about biking per se. I still am going to be biking every single day, but now it's no longer so much about racking up miles, which is why I'll be taking this ferry. You know, I want to be focused more so on biking for sure, but also biking strategically to places where I can further my larger goals, like getting a job, tending to other errands. And so I just decided that, you know, instead of biking all the way back to San Francisco, which would probably be close to 30 miles, high 20s for sure, I could take the ferry, and then I could, you know, save that energy to write postcards, make this podcast, and then also go again to the bike shop tonight to volunteer once again. I have some snacks with me this time, so I don't think it'll be as much of a kind of hobbled together experience. It'll be a little bit more strategic. So I'm stoked for that. Again, I wasn't planning on volunteering. I was going there to do stuff on my own bike, but, you know, ultimately that was really also just something I was doing to kind of kill time. So it makes sense that I ended up just volunteering and really, really enjoying it. Had a really good time, made a lot of good connections with people. I helped maybe, you know, 50 or 60% of the people who I was directly working with resolve their issue. And then, yeah, it was just good. So today, I can see people are starting to queue up for the ferry, so I don't want to get too far behind them. Today, I woke up at about 7. I went to bed late, like 11 p.m., which was certainly later, much later than I would prefer. I do not plan on repeating that again tonight, especially since I have plans tomorrow to meet a friend at a cafe at 7:30. But yeah, woke up, the German family, they were all having a good time and letting everybody know it. So I got up and got out as quickly as I could, and went down to this little area where I have been having breakfast and using the restroom and making coffee and stuff, and hung out there until maybe 8:30 or so. And then I headed out to go to Sausalito, and I had a couple of things on my agenda. I wanted to go to the REI that was in that area. I wanted to, well, I should just go in order. I went to the REI and I went through every single aisle, and I kind of evaluated all of the items that they were selling to see if anything like struck me. And I have to say, I found a portable bidet that allows you to carry water with you for the bidet. So it's sort of like an emergency bidet. And I can remember one specific day in Pennsylvania where that would have been an absolute godsend, because I wasn't able to, I wasn't creative enough to figure out how to carry water in the bidet that I had at the time. And so now that there's a purpose-built device that will do that for you, I'm very pleased with that. And I also, hold your breath, take a seat, I bought another inflatable sleeping pad. So I was going through their garage sale section, which is all the things that have been returned by customers, and came across this 3/4 length inflatable pad, and tested it out and thought about it for a while. And I was like, you know, I'm kind of in a very, very comfortable climate. Like, I really don't need my legs, like from my, you know, my knees down to have any kind of like insulation or support. And because I just bought that accordion style sleeping pad, which ended up being actually more expensive, because the garage sale items are returned, I got this at a discount, this inflatable pad. So I got it for like $55. And, you know, one thing I have noticed in the 2 nights that I've used the accordion pad is, although it's completely adequate, you know, it certainly leaves a lot to be desired for pressure points on my hips and on my shoulders, I guess, when I'm on my side. And so that's really the only place that I felt less comfortable with this accordion style pad. So I'm really, really stoked for some good sleep. I'm going to aim to be in bed by 10 tonight, you know. And I think I'm going to sleep much, much better. So got those two things, and I went to this complex that had the REI. They had REI, they had Starbucks, they had a grocery store, Safeway. So I was able to get like every single thing that I needed in one area, which was really awesome. So I did go to the grocery store, met a cool guy named Damien, who was trying to collect signatures to get some sort of an initiative on a ballot. And I was joking around with him for a bit because I was like, dude, I bet you're really good at asking women out on dates because you are just getting rejected by person after person after person. And so fast friends, got his number, keeping in touch, you know what I'm saying? And then I headed over to Pete's Coffee where I did some actual needfuls, charged up all my stuff, did all the digital things that were outstanding, and then I went from there over to a Target where I purchased a hair cutting kit, which I'll be able to use now to cut my hair, because I've also made a reservation to stay at a local hostel that's on the San Francisco side this coming Saturday and Sunday, because it looks like that's going to be 2 days where it's going to possibly rain. And I haven't done laundry forever, and I haven't taken a shower. I haven't done laundry or taken a shower since Reno, and I'm really beginning to feel it and smell it. And so I'm ready to do those kind of digital needfuls, especially, not digital needfuls, but fundamental biological needfuls, the hygienic needfuls. And what else? I'm going to, got that from Target. Then I came here. I'm kind of rushing because I don't want to miss. I want to be one of the first people on the ferry because I just set up the app to pay for the ferry, and I'm not sure how that's going to work. And I want to make sure my bike gets on and all that kind of stuff. So I'm a little scattered at the moment. But I guess I will conclude by saying that I bought 20 postcards yesterday, and I will be sending those out as sort of like a final edition of postcards. And I basically am going to write the same thing 20 times. So sorry if you're listening and you get one of these postcards. It's going to be redundant, but at least it'll be a good document to encapsulate what this trip has meant in terms of the numbers. So people are starting to get on, so I'm going to start heading that way myself. I was going to go over what those numbers are, but no, I guess I still can. I guess I probably still should. Let me pause this and then start it again in a minute. All right, I have made it to the boat, so I was just going to go over the quick vital statistics of the trip and then leave it there for now. I don't know. I'm tempted to write postcards, but I'm nervous that I'm going to get nauseous. Do you hear this? Anyway, as we start to take off. So, I left on August 25th. I took my first zero on September 10th. I took 10 zeros in Colorado from September 19th till the 29th when I was on the podcasts with the Trek. Then I took 2 zeros in Reno, Nevada, the 13th and the 14th of October. And then I arrived in San Francisco on October 19th. So the trip itself took 55 days to complete. There were 13 zeros, and so in terms of moving time, it actually only took 42 days to get here. As per Google Maps, from Atlanta, Georgia, from my parents' house in Northeast Georgia to the ferry that I took to get into San Francisco, it was 2,970 miles based on the route that they generally suggest, which I have no idea what that route would be. But then the actual mileage for the trip for me, with all of the stops and all the different trips including my 10-day stint in the Denver area, I biked 3,566 miles. And yeah, now I'm here, dude, living the life, headed to San Francisco yet again. So I have plans to meet with a friend tomorrow, as I mentioned, for coffee. And then there's another friend who's in town from the Atlanta area, and I'm going to go for a ride with him on Saturday. So, good socializing, good networking, all that kind of stuff. And things are generally looking good. I'm pretty happy with the city, I will say, I don't know much about California as a whole, but I have been very impressed with the bike infrastructure here. Colorado's bike infrastructure, for the most part, was also very impressive, but also because it's such a lot of that state is just desolate desert on the east side and somewhat on the west side too. It kind of turns out to where the infrastructure is like really, really good some places and really, really lacking in others. But getting around San Francisco so far in the very, very small, errands that I've run to this point, there has more or less been a bike lane every single time. And even beyond that, there are actually varieties of bike lane. This morning I remember seeing a sign that said like faster cyclists could take this alternative bike route that was like off of this other protected pedestrian and cyclist shared route, which was very impressive to me. So if for no other reason, I'm definitely enjoying all of the amenities bike-wise while I'm out here. And it's certainly something to consider if I do end up getting a job that, you know, it could be much worse. Like Atlanta has some bike infrastructure for sure. It's not nothing out there, but it compared to this, I mean, it feels like nothing. You know, there are certainly places in the country that are much, much worse off than Atlanta, but it's hard to compare the two here. So, yeah, my dude. Heading for San Francisco. I don't remember. I think it's almost an hour ride to get over there, which is kind of crazy. So perhaps I should at least try to make some postcards happen, especially since I'm basically going to be doing a bulk, what do they call that? Canned message for each one. It's kind of a bummer. I was trying to think, I was like, is there any way I could make AI make this for me so that I don't have to write it 20 times? But I guess it could be worse. I'll get really good at writing this one phrase and then I'll probably never write it again. So, yeah, my dude, I'm on this boat. I'm on a boat, as they say. And, yeah, straight on till morning. So for now, I'll leave it there. I was thinking that this clip would be a little bit longer, but this is fair enough. And yeah, I don't even know what today is. I think it's Wednesday. I hope it's Wednesday. Yeah, it is Wednesday. So I'm checking out of my campsite tomorrow, which I'm actually pretty excited about. I've enjoyed the campsite. I'm actually looking at an Inhinga bird right now, which I have a tattoo of one on my arm. I've enjoyed the campsite a lot. It's been really nice to take this stuff off of my bike and be able to travel around without worrying. I think I see sea lions. Something like that. But yeah, it's been really nice to have all of my stuff off the bike that I don't need on any given shorter trip, you know. But, oh, those are seals. Wow, that's cool. But I've also just found so many other places that I could have stayed for free and that would have been equally fine, if not possibly better, because I would have woken up earlier. But, you know, it all comes out in the wash. So, anyway, yeah, my dude, I'm going to go do some more needfuls and keep this freaking train a-going. Love you, bye.